Oddball Show, a podcasting collaboration, JP Live Productions, and Oddball Magazine.
Welcome back, all you warriors and mages of American Mordor. This is indeed the Oddball Show. My name is Prof, your sonic chauffeur and friendly neighborhood JP Lime representative, here for any and all of your hip-hop needs. And it wouldn't be the Oddball Show without the founder and editor-in-chief of Oddball Magazine, now accepting your poetic submissions, so definitely go check them out. My co-host, the straight-laced poet with jagged thoughts, please say hello to Mr. Jason Wright.
Absolutely. On the submission, you can always send us Oddball Magazine submission guidelines. Follow them and send us your stuff. It's great to be here today.
Welcome, buddy.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I think we have an awesome guest, and I'm just rip-roaring ready to go. So go ahead. Let's get going.
Well, our guest tonight is a good friend of the Oddball Show and a cornerstone contributor to Oddball Magazine. On previous editions of the podcast, she's taken us inside the Boston house scene as a member of Arado. And in the pages of Oddball Magazine, her underground garden keeps readers informed on the hottest local events and DJs. Tonight, she joins us to talk about a one-night-only, one-of-a-kind event as one of the godfathers of house music comes to Boston to kick off his world tour. Lil Louis, most famous to us less passionate house fans for his 1987 hit French Kiss, is iconic and influential to those within his genre, and his work is widely sampled across hip-hop and R&B. It's going down this Thursday at Machine Nightclub on Boylston Street in Boston, and we are lucky to be joined tonight by the hardworking house head making it happen. Please give a warm Oddball Show welcome to Liza Zayas.
Hello, JP Lime and Oddball.
Hi, what's happening?
Hey, the other hard worker isn't with us, Leo Alarcon. This has been a team effort.
Absolutely.
So on behalf of Leo and me, thank you guys so much for letting us come by and talk about this amazing. There are really no words for what's going to happen on Thursday. I've never experienced it, and I'm not even there yet, and I already know that I've never experienced anything like this.
Well, it's our absolute pleasure. We really do appreciate you taking the time to come by and tell us all about it. We really are eager to keep our listeners and viewers informed about one of the dopest shows going down this weekend. It's going to be Thursday night. Let's actually hit them with some of the details before we start breaking into who Lil Louis is for those of us who are outside the house scene. Let's make sure we get all those details right up front. It's Thursday night.
Thursday, August 17th.
Yep.
It's at Machine. You're right. It's 1254 Boylston. Doors open at 7. It's a 4-hour event. It's a free event, but you can't walk up to the door and say, I heard this is happening here. You need to walk to the door with the ticket from Eventbrite. And so you would go to Eventbrite and you'd search for artist Lil Louis, Lillouis, City Boston. Register for your ticket, as many as you need for you and your crew. And Thursday night, that's where we're going to be. That's where a lot of innovation's going to be.
So that link for those tickets, that and all the other really important information, we'll probably put up like a map link to Machine. But all of that will be up in our pertinent link section. It's also in the intro on our YouTube page. So if you're please don't head there without a ticket. Please don't be lost without a ticket. They are available, but they are exclusive. So hit that Eventbrite link. Like I said, that'll be up on the JP9 Productions pertinent link section. And just search on Eventbrite for Lil Louis.
Lil Louis Worldwide Album Review, Boston Tickets. That's what you ought to search.
Yes, indeed.
I know it's like a listening party. What actually is the event?
What is going on?
I know. As a fan, my head is spinning. What's going on is that Lil Louis, in the course of X amount of years, has written, produced, probably performed on 100 songs. And he's stripped those, or he's selected from those 1,500 albums worth. And in June of this year, he debuted this concept at the Ministry of Sound in London. in Chicago and Atlanta. This is the U.S. leg of this tour. It opens up in Boston. And when he returns to London, Edinburgh, Germany, Paris, and Italy next month in October, that he's inviting his fans to be his guests, to show up in what would be, I guess, the living room, which in this case is a nightclub, and listen to music, these albums. And it's intimate in that we're going to listen to full tracks. You know, we're going to be hearing these tracks before they're put out for the market. And he's going to talk about the inspiration or the process or, you know, the muses, the emotion behind these selected tracks that he's going to, you know, play for us. And then we actually get to feed him back. You know, and the details that I think I'm allowed to give are minimal right now because it's so private and unique.
Right on.
But it is there where he is going to hear back from his fan base. It's not so much of us showing up and just listening. It's also him, you know, hearing us as well. That's what I think is amazing. Is it a club atmosphere where you're going to go and there's a DJ playing a continuous mix all night? No, it's not. It's even, it's more than that. It's even more intimate than that, where it is a DJ that we've been dancing to, DJ or the music that he's produced throughout our house lives. But here he is in a more intimate space with us. And that's why I'm blown back by this. I think it's super special. And I'm so happy that he's coming to Boston with this.
It's like a meet and greet for a house legend.
It is, but it's not like I love Stan Lee, and I just went to Comic-Con, and this is why I'm using it as an example. It's not like he's going to be at a table and it's going to be a long line of people. Yeah. We're all going to be in the room together. We're all going to be mingling. It is that dance party atmosphere. And he's just going to be, you know, stage center, of course, but directly, you know, communicating with us from that point. Whereas we're going to be in the room and he's going to be there. And of course he has to be on deck to play the music.
Yep.
And these album reviews. So I don't know if he's going to chop it up, if he's going to start mixing. I don't even know what it's going to look like. I just know it's going to be dope. As a fan, I'm already
questions? Is he going to take questions from the audience? Or?
I can't answer that because I haven't been to one. But I, you know, in working with Louis and listening to other interviews that he's done, it's very organic. So mayhaps.
Cool.
Or is open.
Is it like is this being recorded? Is this going to be a live album?
So, again, the details are somewhat minimal right now because it is such a private event. But he is these events so that in the future he can put together a documentary of this journey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a super... I'm sorry to interrupt you, Liza. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say how prolific he is in that way.
Yeah, that's incredible. Prof, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I think it's a really dope and unique and a not explored enough experience to journey behind the music with the artist. I think that's a level of insight that I always look for, that, you know, as we bring guests here on the Oddball Show, I think our listeners and you know, music fans in general are really interested in knowing how a particular artist or musician got to a point with their art or their music. So I think those kind of intimate settings and those kind of intimate experiences are few and far between. I think that's going to be super dope.
I think so too. And trust me, Leo and I are behind the scenes in terms of, you know, working logistics on the ground, and you know, just working the logistics. But as fans, we're so excited. We've been excited since, you know, we got the call to experience this. For that, like, this is an influential producer for us as house heads, being this. I don't want to use the word vulnerable, but being this open and expressive at such a personal level. Actually have some moments of silence in the room where we can dialogue. I can't. It's going to be amazing. in some of the interviews he said, and I can't remember the other part of it, but he said, imagine something like MTV Unplugged and another concept put together.
Awesome.
So it's like that. He's ready to share his studio life with us.
And remember, if you're going to this show, you can only get these tickets through Eventbrite. So we're talking with Liza Zayas right now about this upcoming show on Thursday, August 17th at the Machine Nightclub. And you can only get these tickets. Lil Louis Worldwide album review, Boston tickets at Eventbrite. So, guys, if you're listening and you're house heads, you gotta check this out, right?
Thing is, when I've been promoting it, the house heads know who he is. I doubt there isn't a house head who hasn't been moved by a song of his or been inspired by him. But if you're a songwriter, he's an amazing songwriter. If you're a musician, if you're a DJ, if you're into any kind of art, this is an artist. It's a house head. It's open for anybody who moves to rhythm.
Now, I know I was checking out his music, and I know we were talking about French Kiss, but I got to point to the fact that Kanye sampled Lil Louis. And that's always a hot topic for me.
So just for those of you who are tuning into the Oddball Show for the first time tonight, there is somehow in every single Oddball Show, it's like all roads lead to Kanye for Mr. Jack and Thought Jason Wright. Somehow it's like 6 degrees of separation. Every single artist in the world is somehow connected to Kanye.
Yeah,
and it always that's the point of focus. So yeah, so sorry, Jason, go on.
Well, no, I mean it's just he did that joint with John Legend, right?
Yep. Yeah. And the thing is that's not surprising to me in a positive way is that Kanye's from Chicago and Lil Louis is from Chicago, and House was born in Chicago, and Louis is if not the father of House. I'm in Boston and I know who Lil Louis is. I can only assume safely that Chicago knows who Lil Louis is.
Right on.
Lil Louis put Chicago on the map, let's say, in terms of dance and house music. It's in the books. It's a highlight.
Musicians who know their music know Lil Louis is what we're getting at.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to know who he is, come on by. He's about to play music that he hasn't shared to the masses yet. Special in that, the story goes that, he announced his European tour and, Chicago and America was like, hey, show America some love. So it's really special that Boston is the first city on this U.S. tour. Next Thursday, he'll be home in Chicago. And then on Thursday, August 24th, he'll be in Atlanta before he goes overseas. So, the East Coast gets to show this man, hopefully it will, because this is all coming from his heart. He's doing this. This is the Lil Louis production from the Mighty Lil Louis, and he's invited promoters from the city to just line up the logistics, find the spots for him, and do some groundwork for him. And then he's bringing in crews and technical people, and there are lights that are going to be included, and listening to him speak about the sound quality, just the sound quality, the attention that he's putting into what the room should sound like.
Oh, boy.
That's a lot of work that he's given for the experience for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Us.
Yeah.
So, that's a lot of love, and it's reciprocal. So it'll be a give and give in an environment that a lot of us love, a musical environment.
It sounds like a show that can't be missed because, one, I mean, the music is going to be poppin'. It's an intimate event. There is the sound quality is going to be amazing. It's going to knock your socks off. It's one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, the godfather of rave music is going to be in Boston on Thursday. So,
right, and thank you for saying that, because there is no debate in that. you know, the umbrella is house, and then everything that falls underneath it was birthed from. Whereas, you know, we can bring pioneers to the table to discuss the origins of house, but had it not been for those origins and then house, let's just say it that way, where would progressive have come from, or techno, or trance, or EDM? You know, they may flourish differently than our sounds, but you know, we're the root. House is the root.
Foundation. The foundation.
It is a foundation, and here's a founder with new music, and not an album, 6 albums.
Now
Like, I'm so back by that.
Well, let's talk a little bit more. I want to get to that 6 album thing, because that's pretty amazing. That's a lot of music. Let's dig a little bit more though into what makes him so influential. And I know you mentioned a little bit about how house music was born in Chicago, and that's where it's all bred from. Is it just his early pioneering status that makes him so influential and makes him such a godfather, or is there something about his style that led to changes in house music?
So
what's the
I
origin story?
only give the side of a 13-year-old Puerto Rican girl from Lawrence finding house. You know, so I never try to speak like I know it all. I never do, because I'm not even old school. You know, so remember about being 13 is that house was already popping. And as I, became a record digger, and I hung out with other DJs and producers and learned the history on my own or with them, Lil Louis, he said recently at an interview, he started playing in 1974 at age 12. So, I mean, let's really, right? Let's go through the roster and ask what other DJ can say they started in 1974 at age 12.
Yeah.
He said in another interview that he was one of the first DJs, if not the first DJ, to play faster tempo tracks, and he was getting fired for wanting, to make people dance. As a producer, which it's celebrating 30 years this year. One of the first house tracks, if not the first house track, that crossed over and gave the pop radio stations a taste of what was going on in these clubs that I was too young to get into, but in existence for maybe 20 years before that song even hit the radio waves.
Yo, that song is huge. That song is 6 times platinum.
Yes, sir.
That is a big song.
Yes, sir. And the thing is, like 30 years later, in 2017, let's say 2037, should we still be here, you can still drop that track.
Yep.
And a lot of music is timeless, but French Kiss changed a lot. So it kind of made, it made it obvious that commercial success was there, but selling out not necessarily. After French Kiss, he dropped his first album, From the Mind of Lil Louis, which went platinum. And that was in 1989. From the Mind of Lil Louis dropped classics. It's a real pretty, beautiful, fresh album. You can hear it now, and sure, it may sound dated, but it doesn't. There are still tracks from it that you can still play today in clubs.
Yeah.
In 92, he dropped Journey with the Lonely, and it's filled with classics as well. Introduced me to Joy Cardwell, who is one of my favorite vocalists. She has the voice of an angel. Together brought Journey with the Club Lonely, to the world. And that's another song that you can play today, and you'll have new jacks and old school and pioneer or fresh people who just walked in falling in love with it. So he's influential in that his music stays fresh. It's not, if he has a signature style, it's that it's unique, different, and each time it's going to get you.
That's dope.
You cannot expect the expected from him.
Now, when you say he's doing those 6 albums, he's drawing music from throughout his career for those 6 albums?
So I can't answer that.
All right.
Because I haven't heard them, and that's the thing. Leo and I were working with him on this, but it's all, it's logistics and blah, blah, blah. And we're fine with that, because as fans, we also can't wait to check this out.
It's a little bit of mystery.
It is, but when he does bring up, the music, it's always with a big smile in his voice because it's on by phone, but you can hear this big smile in his voice. Greatest body of work that he's ever produced. So if he's excited about the music, I can only imagine how it's going to touch us. He's a producer that he makes music for house, he knows who we are, and he considers us, and he keeps us happy. I don't think there's been a track released by him that anyone's gone, eh. You know what I mean? There just hasn't been. And that's what keeps him dope as far, as I'm concerned. There are a lot of producers in the house scene that are amazing. There's amazing talent in the house community. Producers, songwriters, singers, even down to the engineers. It's just hot and tight. But with Louis, he's all of those things in one. He's not the only one, but he is, and that's who we're speaking of. 1,500 songs is mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's a
like,
lot of music.
Going through your mind, like, that's so much. Poet, myself, and Jason, too, like, our wrists would hurt. We would be writing for years to come up with something like that.
I mean, I got 1,500 poems, but I mean, it's not music. Music takes a lot longer than writing some poetry.
Exactly. So, for 6 albums, I can't wait to hear the themes, the topics, the bass lines.
Yeah. It's evolved. It's got to evolve, right?
That's right. Like, what cultures he's incorporated into it, if at all. What roots has he gone back to? It's so much to think about, and that's what's making me as a fan excited to know that here's this guy whose music I still play, and I'm talking about from the 1989 album, coming through and debuting music, and then we know what we're going to be ready to receive when they're actually put out.
And that is the incredible part about this, is that this is not something that happens very often. The godfather of rave. I'm going to just call him the godfather of rave. Can I do that? I'll just call him that.
Oh, sure. Hey.
Lil Louis is coming into town to Boston to bless the streets of Boston and Machine Nightclub this Thursday. You can only get tickets through Eventbrite.com. Search Lil Louis Worldwide Album Review Boston Tickets, and you got to. That's the only way you can get into this. This is going to be one amazing night. So you got to get in on this.
And also to the Oddball readers, Lil Louis is an author. He put out a book in 2009.
Really?
It is called it's called The Man's Diary, and then he turned that book into a play.
I saw that.
He turned the play. So the person that's hosting this, which is him, Louis, he's inviting us all into his mind.
He's an artist.
Once again,
he's a musician, an artist. And he's published a book in 2009 called A Man's Diary.
Yep. And then he turned it into a play, or then it evolved into a play. And onto the stage.
You got to have a pretty pervasive story, pretty long-standing story in order for it to make it across multimedia. I think, especially play, especially theater. I think you have to have a pretty unique story for that to be the case.
And he's a producer, right? So he's produced for some artists, right?
He has produced for other artists. He does remixes, so he'll take original work and he'll remix it. He'll work with producers within the house scene. They'll co-produce together. He writes songs for, if you hear a song that he's produced, he's written the lyrics. I know that he's produced crossover artists. I can't list them because, my heart is where it belongs and where it stays in the house community, so I don't cross over.
Okay. You are such a househead, Liza. I love it. You are so legit. You are such a. Can I call you? Would you be a B girl? I mean, is this not a B girl? Is this a househead? What do you, Liza? You are so in tune with house music. It's incredible. I mean, the fact that you are the person who is constantly repping house music on Oddball Magazine. It's really it's amazing how keyed in you are to the underground scene or to this explosive scene. It's actually a worldwide scene, really.
Yeah.
That's right in front of your nose.
Yeah, it is. You just gotta listen for that, that 4x4. You gotta listen for the people whooping and hollering in clubs. They stick us, and you'll find the time of your life.
I mean, it sounds like an amazing party. Is this 18 plus, 21 plus? What is this?
That's a great question. It's 21 plus.
21 plus. So you gotta get your drink on at this place, right?
I don't know if they're gonna force drinks on people, but in order to drink, you have to be 21 plus.
In order for
you have to be.
Go ahead.
No, it's true. And that's what it's going to be. We're going to walk in, we're going to mingle, everyone's going to be sipping water, wine, what have you, and then it'll be that same lax environment. But yeah, you have to be 21, but it's like 21 through. It doesn't matter your age. It really doesn't matter.
Now this is a 21 plus show. You can only get the tickets at Eventbrite. That's Eventbrite tickets. Right.
That's so important because it will really, really break my heart to have to tell someone you can't come in because it. So that's just one of the most important things. I have, we have nothing. The promoters at these cities, we have nothing to do with the tickets, but we do know that it's a must.
Is there gonna be merch? Is there gonna be some T-shirts? Because I'm a guy who goes for the show.
I know. No, I don't think there will be. It hasn't been brought up. But you know what? Yeah, I was like, I wonder. But no, I think that the sole focus is the music. Music. And and it, the intimacy of it, and just. Like, for me, for someone who's been playing his music since tape decks on cassettes,
yes,
yep, to sit in a room and get to hear music, like when I bought these tapes and got them out of the plastic for the first time, popped them in the radio and hit play. That's what it feels like. Like I'm about to listen to new music. I always love listening to new music.
And you're gonna dance.
Out of curiosity. Hey, that's a given. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's a given. And that's one thing that's encouraged, one of the reasons why sound is something that's important for him. And even the setup of the room is important to him. He's very detailed and very involved in the experience for us all. It's because people should dance. No one should feel like they're there just to, listen to him and then listen to the tracks. We're there to have a good time.
But wallflowers are encouraged from the outgoing dancer, the outgoing person who just wants to hear some good music, to the wallflower who doesn't want to dance, who just wants to listen to some good music. This is going to be an event.
Absolutely. Yes, it is, and it's almost like a festival in a room.
Mm. And how long is this going till? Is this what doors open at 7 and
they close. They close at 11. It's a quick, intimate event. This isn't a till 2 a.m. thing or 1 a.m. thing. And this is all, like I said, this is a Lil Louis production. So this is all, these are all his logistics and his vision coming, manifesting. So I don't know if it's a short and sweet or 4 hours is enough.
So yeah,
for the amount of music.
And so Boston Street's going to be rocking. Boston Street's going to be rocking on Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing our beautiful city and our beautiful community and all the branches of this tree come together.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of, I mean, I don't want to speak for people, I don't want to call them fans, but a lot of people who know who he is and have danced to his music or have been inspired by him as a DJ, as a producer, as a businessman, there.
Yes.
He's opening his doors for free. So it's almost like that's what I mean, like a living room event.
This is a free event?
It's completely free.
This is a free event. Oh my God. This is a free event. So you got to go to this.
Let's rewind for every time Eventbrite's been mentioned.
Free event. Free event.
Yep. Every time you go to yep, your guaranteed entry is that ticket. You go to Eventbrite, you give your name and your email. They email you the ticket. You print it up. Thursday, show up early to avoid that line.
And there's got to be a line.
I think so. I mean,
Absolutely.
again, as a fan, I would be there. You know,
and the Underground Garden, the person who is responsible for the Underground Garden is going to be there, signing autographs.
Even if you don't ask for them, she will just
sign them.
Anything.
Or she'll dance with you because
she'll do drive-by signing.
Circle and dance with you because she dances. You dance.
I do dance. I have happy feet.
You do.
I have happy.
I've seen you. I've seen you dance.
Yep. And one thing is that Louis has written incredible songs. Like there are lines and lyrics that are just so beautiful. And as a writer, I'm looking forward to seeing where his language has gone. Absolutely. You know, for 6 hours. I can sit here, but I'd have to start singing them. Take the quotes. But you know, as a 15-year-old girl. Woman sing a song a man wrote, but she's telling my story to how there is no gender to emotion.
There is no gender to emotion.
So no, and that's one thing that Louis has done. He's very vulnerable and very honest, and a man's diary had to do with, you know, relationships in his life. So, you know, his songs have never been anything but from the heart. At this point in his life, hearing, you know, the poetry that comes from this music, a lot of amazing songs. You know, the songs aren't so much, you know, you broke my heart and now I'm blue. They go deeper than that.
Yeah.
You know, they go really deep. And I can appreciate that. His music has definitely been an influence of mine for writing. And then, you know, put together with Joy Caldwell, and her voice was just like, oh my God, I'm in heaven right now. I'm in lyrical and vocal heaven right now. Appreciate what he's done for me in my life in terms of keeping me on a path where I'm not shying away from being passionate about dancing or writing or music or singing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Passion.
Let me, you know what I want to ask about is, Liza, how you got involved with bringing him, putting the show on. But I want to hold that thought for just a second, because I think we're just about the halfway point. We're actually past the halfway point here at the Oddball Show.
Thank you.
So I think it's a pretty good spot to take a quick break and do our What's Going On. Catch us up on the two JP Line Productions and Oddball Magazine. Yeah. Then we'll come right back and we'll talk a little bit more in depth about how the show got going. And maybe other things that are going on in the Boston house scene coming up. So let's come right back with that. Jason, you want to go first with what's going on?
Yeah, sure. So we have a lot going on at Oddball Magazine lately. First of all, we revamped our website so it is sleek, it's so fresh and so clean. You come and look at it, you know what I'm talking about. It looks good.
It does look good.
Yeah, it really does. It's like dope. And there's a link right to this podcast, so you can subscribe to it on iTunes, where we prefer, if you are listening to this, you could listen to this on YouTube, but you probably won't listen to it on iTunes because you can take it with you, because when you're on YouTube, you can't take it with you unless you have YouTube Red, but that's a different story. I think it's called YouTube Red. Anyway, we're on iTunes, and you can subscribe right on our Oddball Magazine, and that's oddballmagazine.com. So that's where you can get this podcast and also the dopest poetry on the planet. Poetry, art, and entertainment for the masses. So, I'm not going to, I can tell you all about what we do at Oddball Magazine, because we do a lot, but you should just check it out at www.oddballmagazine.com. I will say, though, Liza writes for Oddball Magazine, and we are so thankful for her. And she writes her weekly column, The Underground Garden, And my another shout out is to the always interesting Bruce Wise, who writes Wise Words. Gotta check that column out. Liza, have you ever checked out Wise Words? I mean, it's a stacked column.
I will.
Oh, it's beautiful. Like, check it out. Check out this dude's references to all the stuff that's going on in the news, and you'll be like, "Holy crap!"
That's what I appreciate.
Yeah, it's all pop culture references, and it is. You got to take a dictionary or an encyclopedia to understand this, because it's not because the poetry is hard to understand. It's just because there's so many references, and if you know me, I love references. I love references of pop culture in poetry, and even if you use the word poetry in poetry, it makes me excited, and I usually end up publishing you because you're writing about poetry, and I find that passionate, But like, this dude takes what's going on in the news. He takes stuff from like Western philosophy and all sorts of stuff, like politics. He wrote this one poem about his trip to LA that was frigging incredible. It was like 7 or 8 paragraphs long, all in rhyme, all in like I don't know, couplets, and like that's probably not the word for it. They're not couplets, but talking about all these, like, getting from the airplane to where he went in like I don't know, from landing at LAX all the way down to San Diego, and all the stuff he saw. And it's a dope poem. And every time he sends me new stuff, I'm very, very happy that this man is part of Oddball Magazine. So sorry to shout at him out so much, but you two are my favorite, Liza and Bruce.
Thank you. Anybody who can write a long poem that's intellectual is already an amazing writer.
Oh my God! Like, this dude is unsurpassed when it comes to poetry. That is both brevity, which is the soul of wit, as you know, and also it's just smart, which is wit. So it's just great. It is great. So yeah, I don't know. So I like what we're doing at Oddball Magazine. I got to thank my ever so awesome associate editor, Chad Pronto, the man who says Naz, who hasn't been on the show in a long time, but we love him and we miss him. He's doing his thing at Stone Soup. But yeah, we have some great content on Oddball Magazine, and that was just on Friday. So, I mean, we put you up on Thursday with Janet Cormier, and then Bruce Wise is on Friday, and we have our poets on Wednesday, and my column on Tuesday with Flemings. Like, we have so much content. So come check us out at oddballmagazine.com, where you can subscribe to this podcast as well. And it's really true flavor. So that's what's going on at Oddball Magazine. What's up with you, man? What's going on at JP Line Productions?
Yeah. Well, over at, let's see, JP Line Productions, we are a Boston-based hip-hop company. We are your world crunchy hip-hop center. We like to write about a lot of different things, hip-hop being the most prominent and the most central to what we do. We've had a little bit of a laid-back summer, just a little bit less of our rigorous content schedule. But up this week and then this coming week, I did a little thing on Justice Born, is a cat up in the northern end of the state. Lives in Lynn, does a lot in Salem with the Rec Shop movement.
Rec Shop, talking Rec Shop.
Yeah, they put on the Bridge and Gaps Festival last week. So I did a little piece beforehand, and I'm going to do, even though it's a little bit afterwards, I took some notes. I want to do a little piece I went on Sunday. It was a 2-day festival. So it was really, really dope. Some great weather, even though it's super windy out there at Salem Willows. But it was a really cool festival. Dark Matter, who's a friend of ours, who's been here on the show. They lit the stage up, the Floor Lords, all kinds of spoken word artists and different genres of music. It was a real cool day. Real cool 2 days at Salem Willows. So I'm going to put up a second piece about that later this week. And we'll also be returning with LSP's Throwback Thursday. LSP is one of our good friends, the man responsible for the opening music here on the Oddball Show, and all of our produced our entire album, Blue Star Boulevard. His column, LSP's Throwback Thursday, in which he goes through his digital volumes and pulls out a track for our listening freestyle and pleasure. That'll be coming back this Thursday. And you can catch our Rap Flashback, which is not new. It's from last year, but it's our August one. And anybody that knows anything about cool dates in hip hop history knows that 1988 is an important year, and 8888 is the day that Straight Outta Compton came out. So we did a pretty long segment on that on the Rap Flashback. So that's up on the website now, which you should come check out. We read a lot about a lot of different things at JPL Magazine, and we're always also looking for submissions. We'll be doing our local artist series that'll be continuing every few weeks. So if you are a local hip hop artist and you're looking for a little shine and you're looking for a place that's really into local hip hop, which is an awesome scene right now in Boston and the surrounding towns, please come check us out and come talk to us. We're down to listen to your music. We're down to write about you. We're down to support a very vibrant and important scene, I think. That is JPLimeProductions.com. and JPL Magazine. You can also please follow us at JP Lime on Twitter and Instagram, at JP Lime Productions on Facebook, and we are on pretty much every other social media site. So come find us and get to know what we do.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk a whole show just about JP Lime Productions and a whole show about Oddball Magazine. But we break it down into 2 minutes, just a little bit for you, just to let you know what we got going, because we got a lot going on.
And that is what's going on.
Yeah, you guys.
What's going on?
Appreciate what you guys do for the hip hop and the poetry scene.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's nice to have it's nice to be able to do what we do for the hip hop and poetry scene.
Indeed.
And it's a live scene, man. There's a lot. If you are underground, either spoken word artist or an underground hip hop artist, there's a lot going on in Boston right now. I mean, we have both been doing each of our scenes been part of our scenes for a long time, and I don't really feel like there's been as energetic a time, a ready to burst kind of feeling than Boston hip hop has right now. So it's a cool time to be part of it.
Boston hip hop is about to burst, and the poetry scene in Boston is not just we are like world star poetry. We got
world star.
Yeah, we have a lot of champion poets in Boston, definitely, absolutely.
But let's pull it back real quick to we got some time.
What are we talking about?
We are talking now about house music, from spoken word and hip hop right back to house, which actually in a lot of ways is follows the same timeline as hip hop music. Late 70s, it's birth, and then it makes a huge change through the 80s and early 90s.
Absolutely.
But Liza, let me ask you this: how is it that you and Leo came to be putting on this show with Lil Louis? How did that connection? How was that established?
Once upon a time, at the turn of the millennium, I think it was the turn of the millennium. I cannot remember how, but Louis and I spoke. I don't know if I reached out to his manager to see if he'd be interested in playing Boston, or the manager. There was something going on that Louis was sought for the city, and we became friends. It didn't happen. And 17 years passed, and about a month ago, like I said earlier, the state started asking Louis, why isn't he bringing his tour home? So he reached out to promoters in these cities, Boston, Chicago, and Atlanta, and when he thought Boston, he thought me. So he reached out and said, this is the concept. Are you willing to work on it? And I said, yes, of course.
I'm sure you said it just like that too, actually. Like, oh, yeah.
I did. I think that this is the 5th week that we've been in this process. I think now is when I'm not like taking a moment to squeal on the side, like out of my excitement. And Leo, our beloved Leo, he has a party at Machine called Sessions every first Saturday of the month. And at the time that Louis reached out, Leo was playing this club in Central Square on a Thursday. So Louis's vision is that these parties occur on a Thursday in this time frame. So I was like, hey, Leo, this is here. do you want to be down? And do we want to try to get these rooms? And Leo too was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it really is like one of your musical heroes or inspirations just saying, help me bring this tour to your city. It was a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
For us, and has it's been a commitment. It's been an everyday commitment from the second we said yes. And I'll tell you that Louis is really involved. We have conversations with him, and we all keep each other updated. And Leo is a dream. He's my brother, so it's really easy for us to say here's point A, point B, point C, and go our separate ways, and come back and say here's D, here's E, here's F. So it's been seamless. With a couple of loop-de-loops, but it just goes right back on the path. Well, it's true, because nothing flows perfectly. Nothing is super smooth.
I like that idea, though. Seamless with loop-de-loops, meaning you didn't find a break in the road. The road just had to move a little bit. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Because it really has been pleasant, and it's really been wanted. So Louis wants to come to Boston, and he's done everything in his power, while we've been in those loops, to make sure that this wasn't going to fall through. So, it just needs to be known and appreciated that, he worked hard to make this happen for Boston. And Leo and I have been there, working hard too. And we're going to be working hard all the way through Friday.
And you know what I can't believe? This is a free event.
It's free. Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's like
Eventbrite and get a ticket and go to this free event of this amazing DJ.
That's the thing. It's like we've been doing all of this background logistic work, and that's fine, because the big picture remains. You can't break a sweat or find a complaint where you're like, yo, this is about to happen.
Yeah. And
you're right. It's free. Like, all of our friends can come to this. Absolutely. And it's free, and and it's this, and it's something that I've never experienced. I don't know if anybody else in the community has, but it's something that we're looking forward to. I know that there are people from Lawrence that are driving, to the city for this. So, you got people taking road trips to do this, and reason
this is
why
a gift from Lil Louis to Boston.
It is a gift. It really is. It really is. From those are the words, and for me has been knowing that not give up on making this happen out here. That's just something that should be known. It probably won't be stated, but it should be known. And his 125 million% is invested in each city. Each city is getting this type of concentrated attention from him for us, for the fans in that city, or the heads in that city.
That's incredible.
So yeah, it's a free event. Yeah, I know. It's just, and that's the thing. It's like, that's, just to go back, when he reached out, it was like, say what? What? No, it was like, and and there's also going to be slides and projections. There's also going to be like moving pictures in the room. Like, there's a lot that's going to be going on artistically.
This is a legit event that cannot be missed. Legit.
Thank you. I think so. Boston, Atlanta, Chicago, London, like all these cities that he's bringing this to. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Boston is the kickoff. Boston is where it's happening first. And it's
yes,
happening this Thursday, August 17th at Machine, Boylston.
Over at Machine, and again and again and again, you need a ticket. Go to Eventbrite.
Eventbrite. Lil Louis Worldwide Album Review. Just search it and go for free. We're not even asking. He's not even asking for money. He just wants your love. He just wants you to come and enjoy his gift to you, Boston. This is a
music.
Gift.
And and it's a preview of 6 albums. Like, and I keep repeating it because as a fan, I'm going back to earlier albums, just one. So it's like, how much can my heart take if every single track on every single album I'm going to want to hear every single day at every single moment?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So clearly, we're pretty excited about Thursday Night at Machine. You all should be there. I think we'll all be there.
It's like, it's...
You're excited. Liza's excited.
Liza got so excited we lost her.
No, I'm right here. I'm right here.
She's speechless. So excited she is.
Threw her phone out the window.
No, no, goodness. I know my head exploded. That's what happened.
Well, we're coming down to the end of the Oddball Hour here, as we tend to do when we're having a good time. We're excited about Thursday night. Liza, what else is going on for those of us who now are all revved up for some good house music in Boston? What else is going on coming up on this vibe as part of this vibrant scene?
I will tell you that, you know, the Boston house scene, and I won't label it. The Boston house scene has a lot going on. You know, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, an occasional Sunday. I can't list everything because I'm not everywhere, but there's something popping everywhere. So, you know, if you run house music searches online, you'll find things like Make It New, The Sweet Shop, Some Like It Hot. You see, it's just, if I start listing them, I'm going to go blank because there are so many people putting out so many. I don't want to use the word qualities, just parties, just straight up parties for people who want to go out and party, you know, that you'll find it. For the house music that I listen to, and you know, it's not categories, it's just what people, you know, choose to listen to. We have an Errado coming this Saturday. So that's at Club Bohemia, the lower level of the Cantab Lounge, and it's the beginning of Errado's third year. The Dende and Mestina, 21 plus, $10, doors open at 9, 738 Mass Ave. So, you know, if you want to get, you know, smacked in the face with some hard, you know, Afro tech and deep soulful house, we're going to be in that basement lighting it on fire.
Yep.
I will tell you that on September 9th, there's a Uhuru Africa coming, location to be announced. And on September 9th is the annual Loft anniversary party that original Loft resident DJ Bruno holds for the Loft heads. So the Loft is a very, very important club to the city of Boston from the early 90s. A lot of Lil Louis tracks were broken at the Loft and were Loft classics. So Loft is, you know, imprinted in a lot of us, and it's the annual anniversary. It's September 9th, and it's at Milky Way. And if you go to Facebook and look for DJ Bruno Productions, you can find the Facebook invite and more information on stuff that Bruno does. I know that Leo, you know, our beloved Leo, does his sessions every first Saturday of the month as well at Machines. And, you know, he has music if you go look for him on Track Source. Kelvin Sylvester is another local producer with Al Copeland as a vocalist and Mr. Lee Wilson as a vocalist. If you look for them on Track Source, local Boston artists putting out amazing house music. And I am more than sure that there are thousands of other names that I don't even know yet that are doing banging things.
Well, that should keep you.
Should
keep you with some dope music for the next few weeks at least.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yes, sir. We're out here. You don't see us, but we're out here.
Hiding in underground clubs and stuff.
Underground garden is legit.
Well, listen, I mean, it has, as we tend to do when we're having a good time here in the Oddball Show and we have an exciting thing to talk about, the hour just tends to zip on by. We're going to close up in a few minutes with Mr. Jason Wright's Jagged Thought.
Indeed.
But let's hit him with all the info once again. This is Thursday night at Machine on Boylston Street. You can only get tickets through Eventbrite, and you need tickets. They are free, so do not hesitate to go get them.
Yes,
but you need to go get them. The link will be up in our pertinent link section, and also be up on. We'll be tweeting and putting out a Facebook post throughout the week about the Oddball Show here and about the upcoming show. So keep an eye out for that link if you're in need of information on how to get to the show.
Thursday, you gotta go.
And it'll be like nothing else that you've been part of. The experience of talking to an artist about their music and about what goes into it is like I said, one of my subtle passions. And I think that's something that artists, fans of any genre of music are really interested in knowing how their favorite artist got to the point that they did with their music. So this is a one-of-a-kind event. You should definitely come check it out, especially if you're a house head. But even if you're not, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. And Machine is a poppin' club.
Even if you appreciate music, if you just appreciate good music and good sound, this is the spot.
Music, man.
Yeah, Prof takes music.
I have a golden gun! All right, well, let's see. Liza, any final thoughts for the peoples before we send it to Mr. Jason Wright's way?
I just want to thank all the heads that have been pushing this event, and you guys, for allowing us to talk about it, and Maurice Wilkie, who's allowed us to talk about it, and Charles River, who's allowed us to talk about it. Support your local artists. This is an international star landing in our city, and that's beautiful. Artists in our city that deserve and sometimes need the same amount of love and support, so never forget your local artists. And I'm just hoping for a lot of unity in all the music scenes.
Absolutely.
This is how things become larger than us, when we work together, and and it's because of love from the root. We all love this thing we call house or hip hop or R&B or, so on and so forth. So all I can say is, love healthy.
Love healthy. That's beautiful.
Oh, you're beautiful, Jason.
You guys are cute.
He is. I wouldn't be writing Underground if it wasn't for Jason. So Jason's near and dear.
Well, when I first heard your poetry, I was like, I think you're very special. I'm glad that you're part of Oddball magazine. So it's very awesome.
That's gonna make me cry.
Come on now, join the hug. Join the hug.
Group hug across the internet.
Group hug.
The Oddball Show does go live over the internet. You can find us on our YouTube channel as well as our respective sites, JP Line Productions and Oddball Magazine. We're also broadcasting live simultaneously on our Facebook page and our YouTube page.
And on iTunes. We are on iTunes. Find us on iTunes.
Yes, and we are on iTunes and Stitcher as well, which is a great podcasting site and app. Very easy to use on your phone. So please come check us out on both iTunes and Stitcher. Subscribe, and if you've got the time and the inclination, please write us a review. Makes a big difference with iTunes. So tell us what you think about the Oddball Show.
Write us a review. Tell us how either great we are or how great we are. That's it. We're just accepting great at this point, okay?
I'll accept excellent.
Yeah, all right. Or stellar job, wonderful acoustics. I don't know.
Stella.
Just write us a review. Put us on iTunes.
And as Liza said, please go out and support your local artists. The three scenes that we happen to be representing tonight, the house, the hip hop, and the spoken word scene in Boston are all blowing up. There's a lot just going on all the time. So go out and support your local artists.
And love healthy.
And love healthy.
What a beautiful way to cap off the night. End the night. Love healthy.
Well, now.
So, Mr. Jason, the floor is yours.
All right. So you guys, this is my jagged thought to end the night. It's a shout out to my friend. I don't know him, but he's a friend of mine, Pete Rock. Whenever I am in a funk, I put on Pete Rock, and I could write through the world ending as long as Pete Rock's playing in the background. So I like Pete Rock. So this is called Pete Rock. Jagged Thought 187, Pete Rock. So much dread for no reason. So much wasted energy. So much for nothing. The mind wants what it wants. It speaks in tongues and haunts your thoughts. Writes your name on the cement wall and makes you guilty when you haven't done anything at all. Can't figure out this energy. Is it unwavering like the flag furled in retainer? Or is my simple sip of sunshine that makes me unwind and smile? Why do I have to stand crooked amongst pillars? What is my purpose to walk the saintly mire? Think. My mind begins to spin out of control. All I want is inner calm, like a still pond, like an empty sieve. Where is my peace? I woke up early, watched the birdie. The sound is going to get ugly, so watch me girly. Yeah, about 8:45, I thought Started thinking it's my time, got too many dreams, telling me too many things, so I gotta chill and see what tomorrow brings. I feel like life could be easier, a pizza extra cheesier without the negative thinker, soul swinger, bone collector, riding over a rhythm rejection with a beat, I feel complete. Typing in my seat, driving to compete with no one because no one can compete. Without God, I'm incomplete. I need sunshine on my shadow, writing a release and think happy meadows. Pete Rock, you are my drug of choice. You beats got me banging using my voice. You got the boom bat that makes things all right again. Makes me spaz with the pen in the morning, in the evening. I wake up with a cup of coffee, but when I get down to Pete Rock, it makes me stop, listen to the beat drop. The mind stops killing me for a second. Over and over this mental molest and wish I could breathe it in the music to calm my head and ease the bruising. But my mind is my mind. That's the cross I bear. Wish I was a goalie with hockey hair like Atmosphere, but no need to despair. We all go there someday, but today is not my day to go away. Wish I could rewind back to like 89, playing basketball in my spare time in the sunshine, where my insecurities, I didn't realize them or they didn't matter. I was in my mind innocent and soul-filled with laughter. I was chilling. That was the third chapter. If you divide life up in threes, I'm almost done with chapter 13, but back then I was chilling, just a kid, living with a life I could chill with. I wasn't worrying about death all the time. My mind wasn't raw with a twisted line, but back then when I was 10, I had a best friend, actually a few of them. That was chapter 3. In chapter 4, there was still more love, but let's skip to the beat and stop reminiscing when we were children. I got the microphone beats banging, Pete Rock in my head, the only rock I'm slanging, only slang I'm singing, writing from the back to the beginning. Dope lyrics, the beat sounds better, makes the clouds open up in sunny weather, makes me feel better. That's what I need on this Monday morning, writing early through my head is storming, chilling on the microphone, a new day is dawning, reading meditation, hoping that I'm learning, putting out the fire, letting my mind mold, finding gold in the pen that I hold. It's so easy to write like this when I got a banging beat like this with Pete Rock putting me straight, hypnotic in a jazzy state. The boom bat stops, and that's that. On to another track, Pete Rock. That was my poem. That was my poem, Pete Rock. And it was, you can check that out at Oddball Magazine, and the poem is called Pete Rock, and that was Jagged Thought 187. And Liza, thank you for being on the show this evening, and everybody, you got to go check out this free show happening this Thursday with Lil Louis bringing his worldwide album review to Boston. Word.
Thank you both. Thank you so much, both of Austin and Jason, and hopefully I'll see you guys there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Thursday.
Well, then I'll see you there. Yeah.
All right. Well,
and I appreciate you guys, allowing us to share it with your listeners.
Absolutely, man. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure having you on the show, Liza. So with that, you guys got to check out this show. Go to Eventbrite to get those tickets. Lil Louis Worldwide coming to Boston this Thursday. And that has been the Oddball Show. So peace. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Be good to each other. Love healthy.
This is the Oddball Show, a podcasting collaboration from Creepy Line Productions and Oddball Magazine.